Hey everybody, I'm PD Trier and this is the Nightly Relay. Welcome to the Nightly Relay. I think I can say it now. We're trying a new camera effect. This one's called Colored Pencil. I should say I'm trying it. I don't know why I said we are trying it. There's nobody else here. But anyway, we are kind of the laid back, trippy dippy news source for, just everyone out there that's trying to make sense of the world, needs like a little relief and a break from the intensity of our day-to-day reality. And this maybe, hopefully, gives you an opportunity to hear the news, have a few laughs, maybe, and here's some music. I want to point out the last time I did this yesterday, I talked about playing music. I have a plan to work music into the show on a regular basis, but what we're doing right now is we're playing a music bed. So what I really meant by that was I was going to go back and I'm just making that up. I had no idea what I was going to do. But what I decided to do was just to play a music bed. And what you heard on yesterday's show was music by 7 Days West, a band from Philadelphia. Anyway, we'll do that again. I'm going to add the music later. You'll hear it when it's all said and done. But later on, hopefully I would like to bring more music into the show on a regular basis. And if you want to send me an email or message me with a link to your band, do that. So today is February 6th, 2020, and we're still awaiting the returns from the Iowa Caucus, the Democratic caucus in Iowa. And we got up to 97% of the votes in. And what apparently is now happening is that Bernie, even though he's been ahead in the popular vote the whole time, he's inching up in terms of the SDE delegate count. And I mentioned SDE. It's not STDs, they're SDEs, and that's supposedly how they count delegate votes in Iowa. So he's like a tenth of a percentage point behind the other guy, who I'm not even going to say his name. I've decided, since I don't know how to say his name, I'm not even going to say his name, because I think really what the plan was here was to have 3 days of nonstop coverage for that guy and zero coverage for Bernie. But Bernie has been ahead in the popular vote since this all started, and he, in fact, now is further ahead. He's up by 2,500 votes, but strangely enough, he's only a tenth of a percent behind the other guy, not ahead. He's a tenth of a percent behind the other guy. And now the DNC chair, Tom Perez, says, "Oh, this is a travesty. We want to recanvass Iowa," and then all this other stuff has come out about the people who created the app, a for-profit company called Shadow Inc., who got its startup money from a non-profit organization called ACRONYM, which has ties to both the Obama and previous Obama and Hillary Clinton campaigns. There's all kinds of shenanigans going on out there. Isn't it amazing? And of course, all the news coverage you've been seeing is the other guy and not Bernie Sanders. But I'm here. In fact, I'm going to pause right here, and I'm going to insert a picture of Bernie Sanders right here, right now. Okay, so that magically happened, and I just wanted to put Bernie's face on the screen so that people would, so that some media coverage, and I know nobody watches this particular show, but some media coverage would be going to Bernie. And there might even be some cool music underneath there. We'll figure it out later on in editing. But it's 4:26 when I'm taping the first part of this, and I'm hoping that the final results will come out in Iowa before I finish this. And then we can have a discussion about who the actual winner is, whether, the popular vote or the SDEs or the actual delegates pledged. Oh, it's so confusing. I know. Democracy is confusing. But we'll be back shortly and hopefully have more of those results for you. And in the meantime, let's once again look at a picture of Bernie Sanders. We're back. It's now 5:20. It's about an hour after we started that first part of the show. I got to make sure my camera's right. All right, now I think we're looking good. Oh yeah. So I'm not going to wait. Nobody has time to wait for these Iowa people. We're done. We've given up. And in fact, Bernie came out just a little while ago, and he made this announcement in Manchester, New Hampshire. 3 days after the Iowa Democratic Caucus, Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders claimed a decisive victory Thursday, pointing to his 6,000 vote lead in raw popular votes in the first alignment, and downplaying a partial results that show a tiny lead for former Mayor Pete Buttigieg in state equivalent delegates, or state delegate equivalents. Take your pick. Who knows? It's ambiguous. We are holding a press conference, in quotes, this is Bernie talking. We are holding a press conference that should have occurred 3 nights ago in Des Moines, but for the inability of the Iowa Democratic Party to count votes in a timely fashion, Sanders told reporters packed inside his New Hampshire campaign headquarters. That screw-up has been extremely unfair to the people of Iowa, and I agree. And he went on to say, it has been unfair to all of the candidates and all of their supporters. So what I want to do, 3 days late, is thank the people of Iowa for the very strong victory they gave us Monday night. So that, combined with the fact that now the Washington Post is saying, who the cares at this point, and it's a disaster for the Democratic Party to have had over 3 years to pull themselves together here and get on board with a plan to kick this thing off right. If they really want to beat Trump, what can I say? It's a screw up of major proportions. Bernie's ahead. I'm not going to wait for 3% of this vote to come in. I don't think anybody else should. I think this is all in my opinion, what the DNC was hoping to do here was hit the pause button. They saw that Bernie was going to win this thing. They hit the pause button. They played up the fact that Pete Buttigieg, Buddha whatever, had wherever at some point they could manufacture that in some way that he was ahead and he was winning, and get 3 days of coverage where his face and his speeches were on television, and in print for 3 days prior to the New Hampshire primary, which is coming up next week. Over there, that's next week over there. And people tell me I shouldn't point. To manufacture a real bogus media blitz on behalf of that guy whose name I can't pronounce. So, DNC up to the same games they were playing in 2016 when they were trying very hard to suppress support and the vote, people coming out and voting for Bernie Sanders. They just did not want him to be their candidate, and they still don't want him to be their candidate, along with the mainstream media, who has decided that Bernie's bad for business, and he's not the guy. We want the status quo. We want somebody who is just like where the needle edges Republican, just like right there in the middle. That's what we want. And Pete guy, whatever his name is their guy. And so I'm going to press. We're going to press with this. Bernie wins Iowa. Yeah. All right, that sounded a little too much like Howard Dean. I'm sorry. I'm PD Trier, and this is the Nightly Relay. Have a good night.